See, in generally how this server looks like this when you're entering into the server through MSTSC. Okay, so you're able to see server name like this. Let's see. So we'll be having IPCOA. So this is IP. Let's see. So like this, I mean, whatever the IP is there, right? Server name IP. In generally, we have to enter like this. This is actually I am showing. This is actually I am showing in our boxes. Okay. Let's see. One second. Please. See, it will ask something like this. You have to do. See, like this. So you need to enter something like this. See, I am giving. So this is the real time how you will be doing installation. First, you need to enter into the server. So this is the IP address of the server. So you are able to see, right? Let see. This is the IP address of the server. Okay. See, this is admin means. So this is not included in a domain. The reason why I don't have a usernames or something. So I'm going with the admin. So this is whatever I'm included here, right? This is the server name. Okay. But in generally, how you people will be having like a here domain name, like a domain name slash username, domain name slash username. Okay. Domain name slash username. Like yesterday I told you, right? FB is our domain name slash username. Okay, FB slash like this. ICICI Bank is there. Let's see, ICICI. That is a domain name. So this is in this domain. This is the username. So like this. But here, this computer. So whatever the computer I have, which is not included in domain. So for domain, you need to create one active directory server, one active directory AD server, and there you need to set up active directory. Okay. Then you set up active directory only. In the active directory, we have to create a domain name, active directory. you have to create a domain name. So whatever it may be based on your wish, like whether test domain, prod domain, anything you can create. Otherwise, with the name FB, anything, whatever you name you want, you can create. So in AD, domain will be created. After creating this domain, computers will be added to this domain. Okay, computers all will be added to this domain. Once added to this domain, computer will come under this domain. Then same this one, this domain name and the username. So same you need to use this one once added into the servers or into domain. Okay. So let's see, I am logging in HT. So this is our computer name, the /admin. Okay. If I am entering, what has happened? You can see it, right? So this is how our server looks like. In real time also, our servers are looking like this only. Okay. Here you need to install our SQL servers. Okay. So this is once you downloaded your SQL Server software, so you can map it and open. So here our SQL Server, it is available in G Drive. You're able to see, right? This is available in G Drive. So right click on this one, run as administrator. So now installation will start. So here, how many? So here you are able to see planning, installation, maintenance, tools. So in this one, some of the important tabs were there. Planning. So planning is like what is the hardware requirement, what is the software requirement. So when you click on this one, it will be going to internet, and through web you will be having this information. Okay. Here you are able to see, right, download upgrade advisor tool. So what is this download upgrade advisor tool? So download upgrade advisor tool. So here itself, upgrade advisor analyze the SQL Server components that are installed and identify issue fix either before or after you upgrade to SQL Server 2016. Means when you are in SQL Server 2014, see this is SQL Server 2016 software I downloaded. So from SQL Server 2014 to you wanted to upgrade system from 14 to 16. So what you need to do before upgrading our system from 14 to 16, what you need to do from SQL Server 2014 to 16. This we can call it as a SQL Server upgrade. Existing system, we are upgrading from SQL Server 2014 to 16. So before upgrading, you need to run upgrade advisor tool on the SQL Server 2014 box. So when it is running, what it will be showing after upgrade advisor is running, so it will be showing whether any stored procedure, whether anything which is needed to taken care. Is there any warnings are there? Is there anything were there? Any errors were there? How you can fix it? So before proceeding with the SQL Server 2016, after upgrading SQL Server to 2016, what you need to do? Kind of a report this upgrade advisor will be giving. Okay. So this will be useful when we people are upgrading from SQL Server 2014 to SQL Server 2016. Okay. And here one more option is there, installation. So this is the installation part. Here new SQL Server standalone installation or add features to existing installation. So what now whatever we are doing is standalone because our server is not added in a domain, which we can call it as, so not added in a domain, as well as it is not added in the cluster. Don't think about a domain here. Our SQL Server installation is a two types. You can call it as a standalone and you can call it as cluster. You can call it as a cluster, both. So this is one thing, standalone. This is a cluster. Okay. This is the cluster one. So one is a standalone and one is the cluster. Above is the new SQL Server standalone installation. So, and below. So this is SQL Server management tools. Some management tools were there, that is SQL CMD and SQL Server PowerShell, something like this. Some tools were there. If you required only, we can install. Okay. SSMS, SQL Server Management Studio. So SQL Server Management Studio, this is the one which you need to connect to your SQL Server boxes. See, in generally in a client server architecture here. So this is our server. This is our client machine. How we can connect from client machine to server? If you wanted to connect to databases, SSMS, SQL Server Management Studio. This is the client tool. So when you install this tool, you can connect to this server, SSMS. So in this server also, you can install this SSMS. SSMS will be connecting to this database engine. So whatever we are doing the installation, right? New SQL Server standalone installation is there, right? That is database engine services we are installing on this server. Once that is installed, databases will be created. So based on our request, based on requirement from the client, which databases they wanted to create, we will be creating databases here. This database, how you can connect these databases through SSMS client tool, which needs to be installed on our machine. Through that only we can connect to this database server. Okay. So this is kind of SQL Server database tools. So this is related to MSBI part. Okay. This is related to MSBI part. So related to that one. And this is our new SQL Server installation, failover cluster installation. So new SQL Server installation. If we are having two nodes, if you're having two nodes, on a first node we will be installing this one, and the second node you need to add this one, add a node to the cluster. Okay, for a first node you need to, this is the node 1, node 2, and a first node you need to install new SQL Server failover cluster install on first node. Second node, no need to go with the new SQL Server failover cluster install in it. We need to add a node to the cluster. Add a node to the cluster. Okay, like if you're having like a, if you're having like a 3 systems were there, 1 4 node cluster. So below I shown you 3 node cluster. So if you're having like a 4 node cluster, okay, this is like a 4 node cluster. So this is like a 4 node cluster. Okay, this is storage will be shared here, 4 node cluster. So when you install on a 4 node cluster, how you will be doing SQL Server install on first node? So this is first, second, third, fourth. So first node, you will be installing new SQL Server failover cluster installation. After that, second, third, fourth, just you need to add it. This you need to add it. Okay, you need to add it. So this is cluster installation. Okay. So when you for standalone installation, no need to add anything. This is the standalone box, means only one box. So directly install this one. Directly install this one. Clicking on this one, it will be installed. And the same thing when you are installing, some features will be missing. So while installing, initially customer said I need database engine services only, means you selected only database engine features, you have done an installation. After some point of time, customer came to you and they said like we need a SQL server integration services as well on the same box. So what you need to do again, you need to go with the new installation? No, you need to go with this one, add features to existing installation. Okay, that I'll show you. Okay, so this is new server failover add and upgrade from. This is one more important thing. Initially in a planning, I said if you wanted to upgrade from lower version to higher version, you need to run higher version upgrade advisor tool on lower version, right? This is a SQL Server 2014 box. SQL Server 2014, right? So if you wanted to upgrade to SQL Server 2016, SQL Server 2016, you need to run upgrade advisor tool. So once run after upgrade advisor tool, you need to come here, upgrade from a previous version. On SQL Server 2014 box, you need to open the SQL Server 2016 software and click on upgrade from previous version to SQL Server. I mean SQL Server 2014 to SQL Server 2016. So during that time, system will not be available. Let's say in our phones, if you people are having like a Android 9, Android 10, right? So in generally when Google releases the Android version, what will happen? It will be showing pop-up like so. You have a new upgrade, new update for a SQL, new update for your phones. So what will happen? Earlier, you people will be having Android 9, so you wanted to upgrade it to Android 10. Right? During when you click on the update, so is your phone is accessible for you? No, because it is doing system upgrade. The same thing here as well. When you doing from SQL Server 2014 to SQL Server 2016, your system will not operatable, because during that time it will upgrading all system related files and everything to SQL Server 2016. So this is the not required for us. This is for a different part, data science related thing, new or installation.
So one question. So what's the difference between the management tools and data tools here?
See, management tools are, these tools are related to which client can connect to server. So this SQL Server data tools are related to MSBI, like data business intelligence, Microsoft Business Intelligence. Like if you wanted to create some SSRS report, if you wanted to create any Visual Studio kind of things would be there, right? That kind of tools will be available in data tools. But here install SQL Server management tool is which tool you need to have to connect to database engine.
Okay, got it. The client tools.
Okay. Yeah, client tools.
And one more thing is, in Oracle, we have a OEM kind of monitoring dashboard, right? So in how do we monitor SQL Server environment here? Like in a graphical way.
So that is a different thing, monitoring. I'll show you later. Okay. So maintenance. So from installation, we came to the maintenance part. Okay. So now earlier in installation, I told you upgrade from previous version to current, upgrade from previous version to latest version. Okay. So version you're upgrading here, SQL Server 2014 to 16, you're upgrading here. Again, in a maintenance, you have a edition upgrade. Edition upgrade means you installed SQL Server Evaluation Edition. Later point of time, a company installed Enterprise Evaluation Edition. After using 2 months, they decided to go with the Enterprise Edition. So already in Evaluation Edition, you people are created databases, logins, everything you set up. So you don't want to disturb that setup. You don't want to disturb that setup. You wanted to upgrade to same setup. So what you need to do, you need to go with the edition upgrade. So when you already bought a license, so already you bought a license and you have a license key, everything, it will be asking. So when you're clicking on edition upgrade, so it will be upgrade to enterprise edition by giving key details and everything. So this is the repair kind of thing. Repair means if you are having any issue, SQL Server is not able to, you are not able to start the system, SQL Server, or you are having it is corrupted or something. So people will be clicked on a repair. So below and remove node from a SQL Server failover cluster means you don't want a SQL Server cluster. You wanted to remove all the nodes from a cluster configuration. So this is the where you can come and you can click on this one. So this is general thing. This is not required. System configuration checker, and this is not required. So these are the main thing, plan and maintenance. Okay. This is also not required. So let's see. I'm clicking on this installation part. I'm going with the new SQL Server standalone and add features. I'm clicking here. See evaluation edition, right? If I'm going with evaluation developer, these are three editions were there. If I'm clicking here, you need to enter the product key. Once you enter the product key, it will be going from free. So evaluation, specify free edition, 3R Express Developer Evaluation. I'm going with evaluation. Next. Accept terms and condition. So it will be checking some checks. Next. So you can leave this one, Windows firewall warning. So Microsoft.NET application security. So Microsoft.NET is there, right? So .NET 3.5 and 4. So that is already there. It will be coming with your Windows operating system only. So this is the way you can see instance features. If I'm clicking on database engine feature, that's it. So these are the SQL Server replication, R services, full text, data quality, polybase analysis, reporting, and shared features. So here I'm not including anything. Okay, I'm just including database engine services, which is required. One more thing like a SQL Server replication. So later I will show you how you can add these features as well. But initially as a setup, I'm going with the database engine services only. Okay. So here nothing is required. This is a server, not required. Just click on client tools connectivity, one thing, and go to next. So go to next. See below is the instance directory, root directory, right? So, okay, see here you are able to see default and named instance. If I am giving named instance, it will be created a named. So I'm going with the default. I'm going with the default instance. Default instance means This is MS SQL Server. So whatever the server name you have, same name it will be coming to the database server as well. Instance. So next. See here in generally companies, see this is the account name is there, right? SQL Server agent account name, SQL Server database engine, and SQL Server browser. Three services will be installed. One is this is the actual main thing, database engine services. So both the agent and browser will be dependent on this database engine service. So where you will be having databases. Okay, you're able to see, right, NT servers and NT service. These are the default account will be coming when you're installing SQL Server. So if you need to go with other account, so I have other account as well, that you can call it as test user I created. So in generally, what will happen in companies, they won't be keeping like account name as NT services, which is by default coming from SQL Server account names. So people will be creating some service accounts. I think you people heard about the service account too. So what is the service account? Service account will be having some privileges, and those accounts non-expiry accounts. So we are having like a Windows accounts. Those are expiry accounts. Means after 90 days you need to change the password. Otherwise your account will be locked or expired. Account will be expired. But here whatever the accounts we are giving, those are non-expiry accounts. We can call it as a non-expiry, means those accounts are service accounts. So here I created one account, test user, but companies, they will be giving this information. Okay, companies, when you installing SQL Server, they will be giving, so this is the service account name, use it.
So these are the OS accounts or?
OS accounts only. OS accounts means a domain accounts.
Okay.
Okay, so this is the startup type, manual, automatic, and this is the disabled. So this is not required for us. I'm keeping in a disabled. I'll explain what is this one once your installation going on. During that time I'll explain. So one more thing, grant, perform, volume, task, privilege to SQL Server database engine services. So this is the one of the feature. Actually, if you want, you can add it, this feature. So what this will be giving, this privileges enables install file initialization by avoiding zeros of a data pages. This may lead to information disclosure by allowing deleted content to be accessed. So in generally, what will happen when you are in a SQL Server, any data is coming, it will be coming to some pages. Okay, first it will be coming to some pages. So what a Windows will be doing, I mean, if you wanted to keep some data, write some data in this one new page, first it will be filled with the zero values. So that is the mechanism, like it will be filled with the zero values. Okay, so it won't be empty, the page won't be empty. If it is filled with the zero values, after any data is coming, so it will be keeping on this, I mean removing these zero values and entering the data. So instant file initialization, if you are adding this feature, what it will be doing, it won't be filled with the zero values. The page will not be filled with the zero values. Directly data can be entering into this one. So why this is means, when you are adding some new file to SQL Server, adding some new page, new files to SQL Server, any deletion or something. So in that cases, the process will be very fast. Okay, when you are restoring something, when you are restoring the databases, so it will be a little quicker if you are adding this point. Okay, so this is the one of the option like a collation. See, collation. What is the collation name? Latin General CPA CAAS. So this is the collation name by default collation name. What is the collation actually? Collation is a set of rules. Collation is a set of rule which SQL Server is using. So general, case sensitive. So these are the some Latin general. So this is the Latin general, case sensitive, accent sensitive. Can so let's say Oracle is a case sensitive. Oracle is a case sensitive collation. So when you created the table name with the caps means you need to, when you're using the, when you're reading the data from the table name, if you're keeping the small letter like a, instead of a table name, like a product, in a product, when you're trying, when you're creating the product, P is a caps, RO, RODUCT is a small letters. When you're trying to get the details from the same product, when you're trying to fetch the records from same product, if you're keeping P as a smaller letter means it won't give result for you, because Oracle is a case sensitive. Case sensitive. Here SQL Server is a case insensitive. SQL Server is a case insensitive. When you create the table name as a capital letter, and when you're trying to read the data for the same table name using the small letters, you can fetch it. So this is a case insensitive. Okay, this is the collations. Our SQL Server is case insensitive. If you wanted to make it as a case sensitive, you can make it using collation setting. For that one also, we will be having a collation. This is like a set of rules. Collation is a set of rules. Okay, that's it. Now I'm going with the next. So here also you're having like a Windows authentication, mixed mode authentication, and this is the data directory. In generally, this is the data directory, and this is the log directory, backup directory. So in generally, as a best practice, when you're installing the SQL Server, best practice when you're installing the SQL Server, all like database files will be on other drive, log files will be on other drive, some tempdb files on other drive, some backup files on other drive. So different drives, you need to keep it in a different drives to get a better throughput. Better throughput means better IO. Input and output, read from the disk and write to the disk, you'll be getting good performance. Okay. So the reason why you can select, but practicing purpose, that is your wish. If if you can keep it in, you can keep it in a C drive as well. Okay.
So one more thing on the previous screen. So collation is something like a character set or
character set is only character set or something like this. So in your career, so you won't be having option to use a different collations. Okay.
Okay.
In generally, see, in generally Arab people will be there, so UAE people will be there. For their related, their collation, they will be keeping in their SQL Server installation. Otherwise, French people will be there. Otherwise, Dutch people will be there. So related to that, they'll be keeping as a collation as a different name. Okay.
Okay.
But for us, we won't be changing anytime. Okay.
Okay.
And so this is the mixed mode and Windows mode, and this is the Windows authentication mode. See, Windows authentication mode means only the users who are added in the domain, they can access this SQL Server. Okay. Domain accounts only can access SQL Server. Okay. Domain accounts only, or admin accounts, like a domain accounts only. But in a mixed mode, both in a mixed mode, both, like a SQL Server authentication is also there, as well as Windows authentication is also there. Means when you select this one for for this box, Windows authenticated people can also access, as well as SQL Server authentication people can access. SQL Server authentication means non-domain accounts. Those are non-domain accounts. Those accounts are not added in the domain, but still you can have access to SQL Server. I'll show you. Okay. Why when this SQL Server authentication is useful means, so like when you are having a Oracle system in some other data source, some other company or some other client is having some Oracle system, and we are having like a SQL Server system. Otherwise, some client is having SQL Server system only, and this is our boxes. These are our boxes. Okay. When they wanted to connect to our SQL Server means, though those people are not in our domain, those are in different companies domain. Those people are not in our domain. In that cases, if you wanted to provide access based on some requirement, we need to provide access to our SQL Server boxes. How we can provide? Using this SQL Server authentication without creating domain accounts for them, without adding their servers in domains or something. You can provide access using SQL Server authentication. SQL Server authentication means non-domain account, so people can connect to other domains as well directly. So this is the use of mixed mode authentication, means SQL Server authentication. So clear. Here also you are having like a TempDB. So TempDB, how many files you wanted to create? So number of files, one, initial size. So TempDB is one of the system database. I'll explain later. Uh, how many number of files for a TempDB? If you create, you wanted to 3 or 4. If I'm saying 4 files, first we'll select Windows authentication and enter the password. This password is for SQL Server. It's an authentication SA password. SA means SQL Server authentication password. I am giving.
Sir, the SA is a local account or
Local account to SQL Server instance, not for the server. SQL Server instance. Okay. So adding current user. I am adding current user, whatever the user I am adding. So this is the current user. So if I wanted to add one more user, this is the current user which is doing installation, that is adding. If I wanted to add one more user, go here and test user, which I have created. I'm clicking on this one. I'm creating. I'm adding that user as well. So this is added. So when you are setting up a new SQL server, when you're installing a new SQL server, in generally, our SQL server, we will be having one team. In that team, we'll be having 10 people or 12 people or 20 people or something. For those people, one security group will be created. If those people need access to this machine as well, means you need to add that group name as well. Here I don't have any group, so you need to select here group name and you need to give that group name. If I'm checking on that one, it will be showing that group name, and you need to add that group name as well. Okay. So data directory. So I have created to E and F drive, different drives I have created. Okay. I'll give like a root directory. I'll give F drive, E drive. For a E drive, what I'm trying to give data, I'm keeping in E drive. Let's say log, I wanted to keep it in a other drive. See, I'm keeping log in other drive. I'm keeping data in this drive. I'm keeping log in this drive. So that's my wish. And I'm keeping backup directory on same E drive. So whatever the drives you wanted, you can keep it. Okay. So TempDB also. So TempDB also you can keep it in other different drives. Okay, here it is going to E drive, but if you are keeping TempDB also in a different drive, you will get a good performance. For each one, a data file, log file, and a TempDB file, if you are keeping in others separate drive, means you will get a good performance, good throughput. Okay, this is a standard. So
Sure. On the data directory, I mean, what is the difference between the root directory and the second one?
See, root directory means if I'm seeing E means it will be showing all data system directory and database directory, E directory. Automatically, it will be allocating these drive names, allocating these folders automatically. Okay, but here I wanted to different name as well, so I'm giving the different name. Okay, so here how many number of files I'm saying? Just 4 number of files. So initial size, I said 8 MB. Auto growth also means once it is reached to 8 MB, so it will be adding 64 MB to these files. Okay, this is a general setting. So this is the TempDB log file. TempDB we can keep it as a one log file. TempDB also you wanted to keep it as somewhere else in drive, you can keep it. So if you wanted to keep it in a TempDB in some other F drive, all log files in F drive means I'm keeping in F drive. Okay, so next. So next, once this is done, so whatever the options you have selected, right? So this will be showing some kind of a report, some kind of file, configuration.ini. So here, whatever you have included here, right? You're able to see, right? Here, configuration file.ini. This is the file will be having all the properties, everything, whatever you selected, all the details will be appearing. This 130 C program files, 130 is a version name. For a SQL Server 2016, 130, SQL Server 2014, 140. Okay, SQL Server 2005, 90, like this. So set up bootstrap log configuration file.ini. So this file is also useful. I'll let you know how we can use this file. So let me going for installation. See, when that file is useful means if you wanted to go installation using that configuration file.ini, you can go with that configuration file.ini. Okay, in generally, so we are having like a 10 servers are there. We wanted to use the same setting for a 10 servers. In that case, you can use the configuration file.ini. You can launch that from command prompt, and you can change some server name and everything on that file, and you can launch it from command prompt. So directly installation will happen. Like we can say installation that is unattended installation. This is like a GUI installation. I'll show you how we can do installation through command prompt as well. Okay, that we can call it as unattended installation. So let me know till so far if you have any doubts during this installation is going on.
So the INE file is something like init file in Oracle, like SP file, or it's something different?
Like that only, I hope. So I'm not that much familiar with Oracle.
Okay. So
But
I mean, the major use of that file is like we can spin up many instances from the configuration file. Is that what?
yes, you can spin off many installations. You need to change the properties or something, the file properties based on that for a requirement, server names or something, and you can run that file. So the installation will happen automatically. So instead of going with all these steps.
Okay, it's like in a silent mode kind of installation, right?
Yeah, silent, yes, silent kind of mode installation.
Okay.
I'll show you that file, so how it is appearing.
Okay.
So anyone having any questions? So till the installation is going on, right? So here you will be having C program files. You're able to see, right? Microsoft 130, setup bootstrap, log. See, you're able to see, right? Configuration file.ini. Copy, pasting. So this is the configuration file that this is the path for that one. C program files, Microsoft. So during the installation, so it is not allowing to copy. Already that file is in use, right? The file is in already use, so it is not allowing you people to do. So anything, any doubts?
So do we need to install in our daily work program?
No, I mean, I see once in a while you people will be installing this installation part is. So when you are getting a new servers, when new servers are came during that time only you people can be installing. So this is not a regular activity.
And but here during the installation, we don't specify any memory or you know. So
No,
how?
here you don't specify any memory or anything. Once installation is done, you can specify.
Okay.
You can do the setups.
Okay.
So here some files are creating. You're able to see, right? It is.
So and even when we practice also, we need to set up domain server, and then we need to start.
Not, I mean, a domain server. See, now we are going with the only standalone machines only. Now we are going. When clustering came in high availability, during that time, we'll go with the nodes, cluster nodes. We'll be adding the cluster nodes and we'll be doing the installation on a cluster part. Now we are going with the standalone only. Okay. When we are having high availability concept, during that time we'll do installation for nodes and we'll add into the domain or something. Okay.
Okay.
Now not required for you guys actually. Just if you are having a one system, that would be enough. That is the last concept. Clustering and always on is the last concept. So during that time, I'll show you how we can install for a cluster.
Okay.
You'll get confused if you're doing a lot of things. I mean, installation, this and this one, you'll get confused. Once you'll get some knowledge and once you get some idea, we'll do later for a high availability.
Okay, sir.
Any other doubts, guys?
Okay, sir.
Great. Just try to get it in Oracle VM box and install Windows Server 2012. I have provided the links, right? So try to get it and do it, do it as the same. Okay. So once installation is done tomorrow, I will be showing how you can do patching, how you can do patching SQL Server. Okay, I'll show you these kind of things.
Sir, one more question. So basically, after the installation, there will be only one process will be up and running, right? That SQL engine service, right?
Yeah, SQL engine service and SQL browser, sorry, SQL agent service. See, SQL database engine services for databases. Okay,
Uh-huh.
system index. Updating permissions. For F drive, we are having permission issues. See, F drive is got corrupted actually. The reason why it is not allowing. Okay. Okay, we'll do one thing. F drive got corrupted actually. So it is failed because the files which I'm trying to create, right? It got failed. So you can check it, this failed message as well. So this is the file, you can check the which is failed. CF system volume while updating permission setting. So it is, so FDAI got corrupted. So something, so this is not expected one because drive was corrupted, because for that drive, whatever we like data log files were there, right? Log files we set up in this drive. So it got corrupted. So once that is corrupted means you cannot do the installation. Okay. So this is where you're able to see, right? Errors. You can able to see errors. Just will do one thing. We'll stop it. We'll close it. Okay. And we need to launch it again. So going with the new. Next. So it will be scanning everything, download setup file, extract setup file, something. So already I did it, right? So it won't be doing just initial setup as. Next. So already installation. So we'll go with the new installation. Evaluation. So I'm adding database engine services and that's it. So these are the shared features. It will be added automatically. See, sometimes you will be when you are doing some kind of errors will be coming. Okay. So I'm giving default instance name like prod. So this is default instance already done. It got corrupted. I'm going with the prod instance. Okay. So prod, next. Hello, are you able to listen?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Okay. So again, I'm selecting the server username like this. So password. Okay. So next. Okay. Okay. The password I provided wrong. Test user. Caps lock on. Why it is not pasting? Let's remove first. So I'm adding here mixed mode. Mixed mode also I'm giving the and adding current user. Add one more user. Okay, data directories. Just here I am providing only E drive. So it will be only E drive I am providing. Here also number of files, 1, let it be. Same path. strong password we need to give. Okay, next. Did not match. One. At the rate 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. So again, going for the same installation. The path is same. You can go for the same path. Let it install. So you are there, right? You are able to see, right? Hello. Hello. Now installation is completed. You are able to see database engine services is completed. You can see computer restart is required. Okay. So tomorrow I'll show you after completing the installation where you need to check where installation services is running and how to connect and how to install SSMS as well. Thank you.